Will you help me?
We have to go. We're not safe here. I don't think we ever were.
Someone turned their trackers off.
So you tell me how you don't know anything about this.
What did you do?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Alien Earth Episode 7 trailer video. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references here and foreshadowing for the actual finale, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. We should start getting more news about a potential Season 2 in the next couple weeks. It's a little early to start making death predictions, but you can let me know who you want to see show up in a potential Season 2. Like, who is Eyeball Jockey going to be riding around in during a Season 2? The episode title is Emergence. It looks like it's going to be a reference to a couple different ideas on the show. From the trailer footage, it looks like it's more of a reference to both the chest burster eventually emerging from Arthur's body, the third one that we'll have seen on the show, if it does wind up emerging. But we do actually see one of Morrow's Weyland Yutani teams with what looks like a mobile cryopod, so they are trying to get his body off of the island before the chest burster emerges. We will see if that winds up happening. It looks like it's also a reference to Wendy's plan to try and get the hybrids to leave Prodigy in the Neverland Island as they literally leave the facility and go out into the jungle. And it also is probably a reference to the Jurassic Park scenario that's beginning to play out on the end of the show here, where all the alien specimens get loose onto the island and just create complete chaos, which is what Morrow said that he was going to do to Yutani. Best to create chaos on the island and use that to our advantage to get our Xenomorph off. It also seems like at a certain point in the episode, the hybrid subplot, like Wendy's subplot, overlaps with Slightly and Morrow's plan to get Arthur's body to the beach, because it seems like she finds out what Slightly has done. Like, what did you do? What did you do? There are a couple firsts that we actually see in the trailer too. I think this is the first time we've actually seen Wendy get upset and lose her composure, get like really pissed off. And I think it's the first time that we've seen Boy Cavalier lose it on somebody, lose his composure. Previously, it seemed like his only emotions were curiosity and impatience. Now it actually seems like he's starting to get kind of pissed off.
How you don't know anything about this.
But it actually looks like the trailer starts with Slightly showing Smee Arthur's body, and it seems like what actually happened is that he used the vent system to take Arthur's body all the way back to his room. And like your typical little kid, he tried to hide the body, hide the evidence under his bed. Nobody will look under my bed, but clearly the body doesn't fit. Typical little kid move, trying to hide something under your bed. Didn't you realize that is the first place parents and authority figures look for stuff, under a kid's bed? Good to know that even in the distant future, despite the fact that we can create hybrid copies of humans and functionally immortal people, little kids are still as dumb as ever. This has actually been a big complaint from people of the series so far, is that they're starting to get tired of the whole little kid vibe coming from the hybrids. There are a lot of people after last week's episode that were also asking how everyone could be making such shockingly bad decisions, because a lot of the big twists on the show, like the chaos that's erupting the last couple of episodes, depends on everybody making really terrible decisions. A lot of the problems in alien movies, all alien movies, could be prevented by just not putting your face near an egg. Noah Hawley, the creator, said that one of the reasons why Boy Cavalier is making such stupid decisions is because he's never actually failed at anything that he's ever tried to do. So, in his mind, failure is impossible. So literally anything he does, he assumes it will be successful, which is why it seems like he's making such crazy decisions the entire show. Like, why are you doing this? This is a stupid idea. We will probably eventually see him do something that will fail spectacularly by the end of the show. When it comes to a lot of the other scientists like Arthur, Dame Sylvia, the people on the Maginot, for instance, it's mostly just chalked up to laziness. Like in the case of the Maginot, people making stupid decisions, because remember, we were seeing them at the end of a 65-year run, and most of them had started to go crazy by that point because it had been so long they were on that ship, they just wanted to go home. They probably started that 65-year mission actually making much better choices, being much smarter people in general. But yes, they did do some very, very, very stupid things. Near Slightly's bed, notice he's got the figure of the tiger next to it. That could be a metaphor for the new Xenomorph that's cooking inside Arthur. Then we see that strike team using the river to make their way through the island, and it seems like it's the Weyland Yutani team based on their guns. The guns look completely different from the guns that Hermit's team was using last week. So this is probably Morrow's team that he talked about that was coming to capture Arthur's body in the chestburster.
We destabilize the facility and exfil in the chaos.
Kirsch then slowly makes his way to the containment lab to survey the damage. Notice as he's watching it, he seems a little perturbed, but he already knows exactly what happened because he already watched it go down on the security cam footage remotely. So that's why he's not running or he's not screaming or doing anything crazy here. You also remember that he's a synth, so he doesn't have the same types of human emotions either. Wendy then has the voiceover saying they're not safe here, and it seems like it's part of the larger storyline in the scenes in the trailer where you see her talking to the other hybrids, telling them that they need to leave Prodigy, like we need to get out of here, mostly because of what happened to Nibs, I think. All the hybrids aren't with them because Smee is off helping slightly right now with Arthur's body, and it's not clear if they know what happened to Toodles yet. So it just seems like it's Curly and Nibs with her, and you see her brother watching the door behind her, because later you actually see him walking out of the facility with them. Just seems like they're going to use the information that Arthur gave him and the fact that he turned all the hybrid trackers off to try and get these hybrids off the island, but maybe they'll eventually run into the other hybrids, Smee and Slightly, and try to get them to leave too, where they all then find out what they just did to Arthur. Like at a certain point, all the different storylines have to converge on each other. So at least at the beginning of the episode, it sounds like Wendy is just talking about them not being safe from Prodigy, who thinks of them as experiments, not as people. Boy Cavalier, if it wasn't clear, thinks of them as his property, metaphorically and literally. Their families also probably signed contracts that gave him total ownership over their minds and bodies in the hybrid bodies. Like, once you transfer, you are now my permanent property. You don't really have any rights because there are no laws protecting hybrids. Now you realize the hybrids subplot mirrors the alien specimens subplot, where both groups are trying to escape containment. They're both highly intelligent groups being held captive. It's just the ironic thing is that it seems like the eyeball creature and the alien specimens are the smart ones in this equation. They're making the smarter moves, pushing the chess pieces around the board to get out of their containment facility. That's actually one of the weird things, is that we don't see Eyeball Creature anywhere in this trailer footage. Doesn't mean that we won't see Eyeball Creature in the actual episode itself, because Kirsch is looking at the lab. In the last we saw, it was still stuck inside its containment facility. Just seems like Eyeball Creature is slowly picking off the hybrids and the really dangerous people, like the people that it sees as threats. All it needs now is to jump into a more powerful body. Really hoping we actually get to the point where it actually either jumps into Morrow's body, because it would be possible Morrow still does have organic eyes and organic body, or jumps into Boy Cavalier's body.
This creature is highly intelligent.
Wendy then seems like she's checking out a map of the facility. Then it's not clear if this is the Weyland Yutani strike team breaking into the facility, or if it's Hermit's strike team making their way through the facility, just trying to check out all the chaos that's just happened. Kirsch is then with Boy Cavalier, and they've discovered what Arthur has done, turning the trackers off. Then Boy Cavalier interrogates Dame Sylvia about that, wondering if she's working with Arthur because they were married. Arthur actually didn't tell her, as far as we know. It was just a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing, because Hermit randomly showed up in his lab like, oh hey, by the way, can you help me with my sister? Then we see Slightly and Smee with Arthur's body trying to take it to the Weyland Yutani team through the river here, just seeing them dragging it through the jungle, basically. Just a couple idiots dragging a body around the jungle. Seems like something right out of a Peter Pan story. This is that Weyland Yutani team rising out of the water on the coast of the island. Not clear if Morrow is with them, just because they're in all their gear. Notice they've got the cryo device with them for Arthur's body, so they plan on taking the entire body, not just the chest burster. Now remember, they established previously on the MASH that cryo freezing does not stop chest bursters, unless Morrow has beefed up this containment device and the freezing point is much lower than that, or they have some electrical device to disable the chest burster when it does come out of his chest, if it does come out of his chest. They kind of got into this whole idea during Alien Romulus. On the Romulus space station, they had frozen the facehuggers to an even lower point to make them go dormant. Also the idea that they got the original Xenomorph from the first Alien movie that had gone dormant inside, like it cocooned itself inside that small asteroid careening across space. So it is possible to force them to go dormant, it just has to be cold enough. This is another shot of Smee and Slightly with Arthur's body dragging it through the sand on the coast, so it seems like they made it to the coast here. And this seems like Hermit enacting his plan to get the hybrids off the island as his group walks out of the facility into the jungle, like they're making their escape slowly. Somebody from this Weyland Yutani team looks up, looks like he either sees something in the tree line or maybe it's the full-grown Xenomorph at this point that's gotten out, but it's not clear if it has escaped from its containment facility yet. It's just that usually shots like this where characters look up suddenly in the sky comes right before something jumps them. Then we see Wendy absolutely losing it, yelling at someone asking what they've done, which sounds like slightly in Smee with Arthur's body, just based on the background behind her. It seems like she's on the coast too.
What did you do?
Maybe they just wind up near the same point, like, wait a minute, why do you have a body with you? And then slightly explains what's happened, and she just freaks out. There's a lot going on during this trailer footage, so if there's anything you spotted, any Easter eggs or references that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. There's also a lot of stuff that they don't show in this after last week's episode. Like I said, Eyeball Creature, nowhere to be seen in this footage, so let me know what you think the next stage in Eyeball Creature's escape plan is. Just seems like one of the critical pieces in his escape eventually is jumping into a more powerful body. We also know Wendy's Xenomorph will finish growing to full size and also escape the containment facility, probably using those same vents that Slightly used to get Arthur's body away. So remember, it does seem like episode 7 is when things go full Jurassic Park and all the alien specimens get out by the end of the episode, so that in the finale they have already escaped, like the chaos has already started. You can let me know if you think of the Xenomorph as more like the raptors in Jurassic Park or more like the T-Rex. Maybe both, like a combination of both. Just because we're talking about Peter Pan metaphors in all the episodes, technically that would make the Xenomorph more like the crocodile in the original Peter Pan story. We also know at a certain point Morrow seems like he is going to face off against Kirsch, and then eventually he'll face off against Boyd Cavalier. Not totally clear if they're going to save that for the finale though. Probably one of the best things the show has done so far, though, is introduce these new alien specimens. They're some of the most interesting characters on the show, so hopefully some, if not all of them, survive to season 2. Really big reminder is my full episode 7 video will post next week after they release it, and we're in the middle of Peacemaker season 2 episodes, and we have Marvel Zombies episodes coming soon too, and Gen V, so there's a lot of big TV shows that are going to be starting really soon. I will try to do videos for everything as soon as possible. Everybody click here for my full Alien Earth episode 7 video. I'll update the link as soon as I post that, and click here for all my other Alien Earth episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.